At this point, now, D, you got to remember, I'm doing this for bread and meat. Because if I don't do it, I don't eat.
Yeah.
Right? Something my daddy told me. He said, son, I do it for bread and meat. If I don't do it, I don't eat. So I would go out there and I would take my cards and all that stuff to all the barbershops and the beauty salons. And at this point, I'm just looking for anybody to bite to tell me what that, and I would drop off samples. Now, I ain't had no money anyway, so I'm just giving them.
Yeah.
And then I'm walking back, and then I'll be home sitting down. They call me, be like, yeah, let me get one of them barbecue chicken sandwiches, some collard greens and yams. I'll be like, all right, I'll be there in 30 minutes. I got to go light the grill up.
And make our sandwich.
I got to make a sandwich, right? Not knowing. But I built this up over time. And I even found out and developed who my niche market was, because I would go to the barbershops and I would go to the beauty salon. With the barbershop, the guy he would try to nickel and dime me in the barbershop, eat the sandwich for itself, throw it away. While I go in the salon, my white chef jacket smelling like barbecue with the samples, and go in there and take it to all the ladies in there. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, they've been in here the hair all day. They was like, do you got more? I need to take some to my husband and my kids in there, and I need 4 or 5 plates. And then they would give you through activity.
You can find your market through activity.
Activity breeds results.
Factuals.
Yeah, and then focus activities begin to make you wealthy. From there, they start hiring me for personal gigs. Then I discovered the festivals and fairs game, right? And so I started off with the little mom and pop festivals. They cost like $200, $300 to get in. Then later on, I discovered these major county fairs cost you a couple $1,000s to get in. But then you start running a bag. And all along,
What's the most you made from an event? Like
from an event? Is that how it's watching? No.
Like, right. So like a county fair or something like that.
Yeah, so a county fair, a couple days type of thing, 20,000. You know, just sitting out there on the fair. Maybe a one-day event. I think the most I might have pulled in was maybe like 12, 13 on a one-day event.
On a one-day joint.
Yeah, on a one day.
Very lit.
Yeah. But you got to be real organized. And I got the potential to make more. I just don't run mine big. Like you notice the big lines got the big signs.
Yeah.
Right? The bigger the signs, the bigger the lines. And it's a whole science to it. Yeah. So
is that right?
Yeah, the bigger the signs, the bigger the lines. Like it's a whole science to getting into festivals and fairs and getting into that.
All right, listen, every single week, every episode, you hear me talking about themorningmeetup.com. It's the community. Let me show you what's happening here. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, there's 400 plus people on a Zoom call, right? We're learning, we're talking, we're growing together, and this is you. There's all these people here. It's all these people in the morning meetup. Hundreds of people reading books, growing. We get together quarterly. It's amazing. And for some reason, you just keep looking at, just go to themorningmeetup.com and get in the circle. And then you'll be like way happier. Just themorningmeetup.com. Let's get back to the episode. All right, welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, man. We find dope people that did really, really dope stuff. Today's no different. We find documented, successful people, man.
Yeah.
You've had some success, right?
Just a little bit, Dave. And listen, we appreciate what you're doing on this platform, man.
I appreciate
really
that.
Just putting out dope people every week. So I'm excited. Thanks for the invite.
No doubt. I'm really just getting a free coaching session from you.
Yeah. I noticed that. Let me tell you, my wife be in the house. She be like, yo, I like what he say. Why are we doing that? Write that down.
For sure. I am here. I'm trying to learn. I want to learn every industry. I want to learn every business. And this is something that I'm super interested in because like you got 2 products, right? You have products that you use and you have products that you use up.
Yeah.
So if I sell somebody a car, that's something that you use. Eventually you'll need another car, but that's something that you use. I can sell somebody a t-shirt, you'll just rock that joint forever. Or, I'm a jeweler. Like you use this, right? The jewelry. But you have a consumable product where if they like it, they have to come back.
Absolutely.
Get it. So that's something that you use up. And that's how you can really grow your income on a whole nother level. So what's going on, my brother, Mr. Derrick? How do you introduce yourself?
Listen, most of the time I tell them, I say, look, I'm the man that went from barbecuing in the parking lot to parking in the mayor's spot.
Come on, talk that talk.
Yeah, listen, I went from getting kicked off the side of the road to writing the policies that allow me to be on the side of the road.
Talk to him.
Yeah, so look, I ain't new to it, I'm true to it. A lot of people see the shine, D, but they don't know my grind.
Oh, we about to get into that.
Yeah.
So what do you offer right now? Introduce yourself to the people that don't know.
So I've been barbecuing for the last 10 years, Divine Barbecue in Motion. Now I'm in the stage of my life.
How many years?
Over 10 years I've been barbecuing. I actually started in, believe it or not, 94, I worked in my first barbecue restaurant. And I really, that's when I fell in love with barbecue. And you know, we'll get into that story a little bit. But now I'm at the stage where with so many people who have watched me go from actually barbecuing in my backyard, like literally on a little Weber grill, and to now I got about 15, 20 grills that I own, and they see these massive grills and these trailers. And most people, they ask the wrong questions. They be like, how much does that cost? But they don't never ask me about the process, right? And so it's like, you get what you ask, and you asking the wrong questions.
Yeah.
I can tell you how much this costs, but you ain't got the money to know how to get it. And so what I had to do is I had to put as Biggie say, a step-by-step booklet for them to get, right? So I had to I actually created a course to teach them the business side. Not really how to barbecue, but to teach people how to go from their backyard barbecue, just like I did, step by step, and how to build a 6-figure or 7-figure business if they want to out their backyard.
I love it. All right, so you said something about like 15 grills. Walk me through that business model.
So I'm not telling nobody to buy 15 grills. I started. Yeah,
right, for sure.
But I started. So let me tell you how I started. So I did, I'm gonna take you back, because I barbecued. I wanted to open a restaurant. I knew I wanted to do this. I'm unusual. I knew since young that I was gonna open up a restaurant, be an entrepreneur. Started my first business in 5th grade. It was a little candy store. Grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland. There was a 16-story high-rise building. We had a soda machine next to the laundromat. I ain't suggesting no kids do this, but it was broken.
Okay.
So the sodas was just there. And I lived in the apartment right across from the trash room and the laundry room. So I took the sodas and I put it in my Rambo book bag and I took it to school. And that's how I started my first business.
Oh, theft.
No, I mean, it wasn't, it was an opportunity.
As a kid, yeah.
Opportunity, I lived in there. So that's how I started my first. So I delivered newspapers, right? I used to cook for everybody in the neighborhood. Used to go to everybody's house if they had potatoes, oodles, and noodles.
As a kid?
As a kid, I was a latchkey kid. I don't know if you know what that is. The person who had the key tied around their neck, let themselves back in. You know, that Reaganomics type of thing. And so I used to let myself back in. I got tired of grilled cheese sandwiches. I got tired of pork and beans. I got tired of the fried bologna with the little red string around that we used to fry it and flip that joke over and eat real good. And then even the toast that I used to put on and light the little burn up and put the little sugar and butter. And if I had some cinnamon, I would throw that on.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So one day I came home. I was about 9 years old. And mom's had a pack of chicken in the fridge and some of that block cheese. That was real good. It was some elbow noodles, some Carnation's milk. And I remember I had to go pick my little sister up from the babysitter. The babysitter was on the 16th floor. And so I said, man, I'm cooking some food for real. So I saw Big Mom and them do this. They took the brown paper bag, sugared up with the flour. I threw the fried chicken in the cast iron frying pan, boiled my noodles, made my mac and cheese, threw the butter in. I thought I was doing something.
How old were you?
I was like, I had to be in the 3rd or 4th grade when I did
what?
This. Yeah. Just came in there and just tried. This is what I started playing around with it. And my chicken, it looked real pretty. I can't promise you. I put my little sister up in her little high chair at the time.
So you like 8 at this point?
Yeah, 8 or 9 I started cooking. Right? So it was just that thing I had to pass. So when all my cousins used to come to town, when everybody in the neighborhood, they would look to me whenever we did nothing to be the guy that was doing all the cooking. Right? So that was my gift always, to kind of like bring people together. It was like to keep giving. So I got in my first gig at a restaurant. Well, actually, I started.
You fried chicken at
9 years old. But it wasn't done, Dave. It looked pretty. Yeah. No, I gotta keep it funky. It wasn't done. It looked pretty. I had to put it back in the pot and burn it up a little bit. So just because it looked good don't mean sometimes you win and sometimes you learn.
That's
right? So people, it's not wins and losses. I learned that just because it looked good, it ain't always done.
Yes, sir. Yes,
right?
Sir.
And so this was lessons that I would take later on that would help me out.
For sure.
Right? Overcoming obstacles and all that. Like I used to watch American Gladiators, all that. And they never focused on the obstacles of the gladiators, but they always focused on the finish line.
Yeah.
So I developed early a sense of I'm always going to focus on the end resut and the destination. I ain't focused on what I'm going through. I'm focused on what I'm going to.
I like that. So, yeah, that's so far. She's 11 now, but at 10 years old, she was making and I'm feeling what you're saying too, because I'm just realizing she made French toast at 10.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how you learn that? Because I don't know how to make. I know how to do it, but I never, you know what I mean? Like, so some kids just pick it up and they're like, yo, I see mommy do it.
Yeah.
I can do that now.
Yeah, just watching. Like we watch, and we don't even, like even some of the style and the way I cook things, It's something I remember being on a little big stool, watching my great grandmother in the kitchen just cooking. And I picked up on some of them techniques and do it. Later on, I did go to culinary school, but that teach French techniques, French style. That don't teach the type of food that we like eating all the time, right? And so that was good, but it's not what I like, and it wasn't my niche market. Gotcha. So I worked as a high school. I delivered newspapers in the morning. At night, I started off as a dishwasher at a nursing home, right? But I ain't stay a dishwasher because that ain't what I took the job for. I just took the job just to get in. Yeah. You know, it's funny, most kids, they limit themselves to what they hired to do. I was always that kid that, and I didn't even know it was a success principle, Jack Canfield, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? That I got in there as a dishwasher, but that wasn't my mindset. I wanted to be overcooking. So when I finished washing dishes, I was the best dishwasher. I go over and I see what the cooks was doing and help them do what they was doing. And so eventually I became a dietary aide. And then I prided myself, I had to catch that last bus to get home by 7 o'clock. What's a dietary aide? Dietary aide is just somebody who just aids the cook and puts the right type of food on the plate. Like if somebody didn't have no teeth, you had to give them pureed food. Like if they couldn't have stuff, you had to chop their food up. Gotcha. So you had to read the cards and figure out what type of food you had to put on the plate and make sure it got delivered to the right person in the nursing home. Gotcha. Carriage Hill Nursing Home. Then I worked at a barbecue spot. Right?
Is that where you fall in love with barbecue?
That's when I knew barbecue was gonna be my niche. I didn't know my niche. And I didn't realize later on that riches was in the niches, but barbecue 100%. Became that niche.
How old were you?
I was 16, 17 when I worked in my first barbecue restaurant. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was called Lil Bud's Gourmet Barbecue in Southern Cuisine.
Did you fall in love with barbecue itself? Like, was it the taste, the texture, or like you just saw this stuff as like gold? Or like, what was it about barbecue that attracted you and said, yo, this gonna be where I live right here?
Yo, so it was just like man, food, fire type of thing. Like, and it was an indoor spot, so I'm learning how to work with chimneys at the time. It's still people don't even know how to light a fire with a chimney.
I feel attacked.
Yeah, no, I'm not attacking you though, but there's a way. It's in my course.
Okay,
it's in the course.
Nah, because some of them I know how to do. You know what I mean? But you ever go to a tricky one, like when you first move into a house, it's like you got to figure out this chimney.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I figured out my chimney, the one I got.
Little newspaper, dude. Just like
I'm sorry, this ain't about me.
All right.
I'm about to get a course to figure out how to.
So when I was in there, like I was learning the technique, and the guys, he's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, so I was learning Tennessee style. Not realizing every year my family went back to Greenville, North Carolina. We had these family reunions around the 4th of July. I was a part of these pig pickings or these old-fashioned Carolina-style barbecues that I had been exposed to all this time. So I get in barbecue, and it's like, yo, of course, they hire me as a dishwasher. That's my way into all these jobs, a dishwasher. So I get as a dishwasher. He said, okay, you did pretty good. Come chop these greens up. Come work these yams. And then he started teaching me the art of the grill. Yeah. And I started learning that. And it was like, boom. Next thing you know, I'm almost running the place. He leaving me to do it. And then we had like a big recession that hit. It was 96, 97. Clinton was the president. The budget didn't get signed. And so now, we're in the big government area. There's no budget. There's Christmas. Then we got a big snowstorm in 97. So we went 5-6 months where it was like no business. He had to shut down. So now I'm left out trying to figure out what I do because college just didn't work with me. I think I tried one semester community college at that time and paid out of my pocket, right? And I didn't know nobody in my environment that pushed college. Like I wasn't that kid that really was into school. Yeah. Right. So me going to see a counselor or talking to recruiters and all that stuff, I didn't know. One of my boys ended up going into the military, Marine Corps. And he came back. He said, hey, why don't you go down here with the recruiter? And I was like, what's the military? All I knew was boys in the hood.
He said, what is the military?
Yeah, it's no place for a black man. That was my mentality. And so he said, just go down there and talk to him. And dude was like, what you want to do? I said, oh yeah, I'm going to open a restaurant. I'm going to do this and that. He said, hey, what if we send you to school and train you for it? I was like, black. He said, y'all do that? He said, hey, yeah, you want to get a house in too? He said, we'll give you housing, all that. He sold me on the dream. He didn't tell me about the military. Right. He started asking me what I wanted and kind of was like, here's how you get there. And I was like, boom. So I ended up signing. He was like, let me see how you doing the test. I think I scored pretty high because when I get down to the enlistment place, they say, you don't want to be a cook because you're going to have to work long hours. Now, I had been working in the restaurant industry at this time 4 or 5 years. I know the hours and the time. I'm not afraid of work. But then she says, why don't you go as an accountant and we'll give you a $2,000 bonus? I said, oh, where do I sign?
The $2,000 made you change your whole...
$2,000 made me change. So I ended up in the military for 8 years as an accountant. And then when I realized I was bamboozled, but during the time I had fun, I got to do a lot of big barbecue
hold on,
parties.
man, because we got to slow that down. We got to slow that down because this is crazy, bro. And this just happened, and I don't know if I can talk about it. So my wife still works at I think Kaiser, and she's an account manager, right, Joe? She's what's up, man? So I'm looking for a signal or something, bro.
Yeah.
Like, she's an account manager. That means something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you manage
exactly.
accounts. So look, so she got like the little tumbler joint, right? And she's like, yo, I want to do tumblers. You feel me? Like, makes tumblers. And she like getting really good at the tumblers. And she's like, yo, man, I'm gonna leave this job because I really just want to do tumblers, and I'm gonna be a momager where she's getting our daughter in like these movies and stuff, right? Really dope. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna quit this job. So she tells Kaiser that she's gonna quit. And they tell her something like, no, you could do this, we give you more days off and all that kind of stuff. And guess what she does?
Keeps the job.
She keeps the job, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they do it.
That's it.
She keeps the job because of whatever incentive they told her.
Yeah.
So I think that happens often, right?
Happens.
You're like, yo, I want to open a restaurant, da-da-da. And they're like, yo, we'll give you $2,000. And you, like, in the grand scheme of things.
I was 19, man. 19. I ain't have a job at the time.
Yo,
I had a dream. Yeah.
If you, like, started moving on that path for those 8 years, the worst thing that happened to you was being offered $2,000, bro.
Yeah. That was it.
That's crazy.
That was the carrot to get me to get away. And then when I finally asked for them to move me into that field, they said, oh, no, you're more valuable. And then they offered me, they said, hey, won't you re-enlist again, sign another contract? Hey, and we'll send you and your family to Hawaii. I was like, nah, at this point, right, I was too much into self-development to know that, you know, the military was good, right? I ain't taking nothing from it. Everything I wanted, the VA loan, the house, the education. I even got a 2-year degree and played football and everything. Right? So I almost got to live out a little college life while I was in, because I had a cakewalk job. I was an accountant. I really wanted in the military. I sat behind a desk and I did that all.
You got an opportunity to do everything except for what you really want.
Except for what I really want. But I threw a bunch of parties, right? So I continued to develop my gift in barbecue. Right? So I knew at this point, when I got to year 8, all right, it was crazy. I wrote a big business plan for a barbecue. I found some quickplan.com or something like that. They probably get promo, and they sent me this big book and these, back when you had CD-ROMs that I put in, and I set up nights preparing to get out the military, writing this. I had 5-year financial synopsis, best case scenario, worst case scenarios, break-even scenarios. I was preparing, D. I walked to the bank with this business plan for a barbecue restaurant, identified a location, walked in. This is 2005. Walked in that joint. They looked at me. They was like, wow, we've never seen nothing like this. Nobody came with this level of detail. They said, let us call you tomorrow, because the manager had to call somebody in the regional office. They called me the next day. They say, sorry, we're not financing any restaurants, but hey, this was great. Never seen nothing like this.
Good.
Right? So I did all of that work, right? Look at all these trial and errors. But what was still inside of me, I believe in life, and we was talking about gifts earlier, like your destiny is not ahead of you, it's trapped on the inside of you. It's just like a seed. Like everything you're supposed to become is on the inside of you. You just got to get in the right environment. Just because you throw a seed in the trash don't cancel the seed's purpose.
Just means it's in the wrong environment.
Yeah, and where purpose isn't known, abuse is inevitable. Right? And so
Say that one more time.
Where purpose isn't known, abuse is inevitable. Like there's a normal use for your life and then there's an abnormal use. You know, abuse is a shortened word. It's a compound word. But in our English language, we lazy. So abuse, abnormal use.
Abuse is abnormal use.
Yeah, come on. I'm
Joe
just
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I was actually
there's a purpose for the chair to sit in it, right? But if you stand in the chair, you abusing the chair.
Because that's abnormal use.
Yeah, that's not the purpose. Purpose is always in the mind of the creator. Anyway, so back to the seed.
You educating Joe right now. He needs to know
back to the
this.
seed. I get a little deep sometimes.
That was good. That was good.
Excuse me. I love teaching too. That's why I got a course.
Absolutely. You're here.
Because that's one of my gifts, teaching.
So, let's get my man some water real quick.
Yeah.
Joe.
Please, thank you. So the seed. So I knew that barbecue was like my gift and passion. right? So now, watch this, I get way off path again. So now I got to figure out how to get money for it. So at this time, somebody say, hey.
So at this point, you're out of the military.
I'm out of the military.
They say no.
People's like, yo, you got a family, you got 3 kids, wife, you need to stay in the military. People telling me on their fears.
Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch your podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode.
But I'm like, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of not trying, right? Like I can't live life without regrets. Appreciate you. So it's at this point was like, I'm getting out. Like I'm jumping.
Yeah.
Like I got everything to gain and nothing to lose. And if I lose everything, I've already been without nothing anyway. Remember I lived in the basement apartment where we was across from the trash room where the soda machine broke.
100%.
So when the lights go out, I already know how to function. I know how to go get a candle, right? So I'm not afraid to be in the dark without nothing again.
Yeah.
Right? So now I jump in the mortgage industry because somebody say, hey, let me show you how to get the money. I'm thinking mortgages, what? So I'm getting in there for the purpose to learn about money, and I get sucked during the whole mortgage implosion boom. It's crazy. Just tell you how
2009?
This is 2000. So 6, 7, 8, 9. It starts to implode. I get in the first couple years, I'm making money. I try to buy some properties. I'm thinking I'm a real estate mogul. Lose everything, all the houses, gone. Because they was exotic loans. I didn't know. I was on the subprime side and didn't even know because I didn't know what it was. I just jumped in sudden because somebody was like, let me show you how to make some money. So at this point now, my destiny is still not ahead of me. It's trapped on the inside of me, but now it's bubbling because it got to come out.
Yeah.
Right. So now I get to the point where, all right, the military, Obama is president, Bush 9/11. So they come out with what's called the post 9/11 GI Bill that says, hey, convert your Montgomery GI Bill, which is the money that the recruiter told me to go to school for. And he says, and we'll pay you to go to school, right? I'm out the military. So now I got to transition because this whole mortgage industry, I'm losing houses. Wife looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm just a risk taker, but she's supporting me. That's the good thing too. She relating. So anyway, so I jump. I get to the point where I go back to school. They pay my thing while I go back to culinary schools. At this time, 2009, I think I jump on Facebook because now Facebook is no longer for the college people, but it's for everybody.
Right. Yeah, remember that?
I jumped on. I was an early adapter to YouTube and all that. I was because we jumped off of MySpace, right? And so now I'm in culinary school. At the same time, I'm taking pictures of my food. I'm posting it, right? Didn't even know what I was doing, but strangers started calling me, say, hey, are you a personal chef? I'm saying, yeah, absolutely. What's up? Hey, yeah, absolutely, sure. No questions asked. What you need? Didn't know how to charge, didn't know how to do none of that. I'm just going to people's house, I'm cooking, I'm doing all of that stuff. And it's from then I just start, just now, 2010, I really start barbecuing out my backyard on a Weber grill. So this is the formation of Divine Barbecue in Motion, 2010 timeframe, because now I'm jumping. And it started with people coming, because I used to still host all the parties. Like I would buy cases of meat, tell people bring sides. If I go to church, I'd be like, hey, what y'all doing after church? What you doing? Hey, come on over to my house and cook. I'm just a social butterfly. Come on, we're gonna eat. I'm gonna feed you. I don't care, right? So I was doing it for free anyway. Now people was coming. They say, yo, that barbecue rub. Let me get what you put on that meat. So I started putting in Ziploc bags.
So it wasn't like a specific rub. It was like you putting together different.
It was my own blend, but I had my own barbecue blend that I did. Like I had developed my own signature rub and my own signature sauce.
Using some of the stuff at the crib.
Using some of the stuff, but it would be the same. It would be consistent. So I was already mixing it up. So I started going to food trade shows, talking to co-packers and stuff, and I ended up white labeling my own barbecue rub. right? And so I got my own rub, white labeled and everything and start making. But then I created my logo, my whole business. I started running to the barbershops, beauty salons, right? Because at this point, now, D, you got to remember, I'm doing this for bread and meat. Because if I don't do it, I don't eat.
Yeah.
Right? Something my daddy told me. He said, son, I do it for bread and meat. If I don't do it, I don't eat. So I would go out there and I would take my cards and all that stuff to all the barbershops and the beauty salons. And at this point, I'm just looking for anybody to bite to tell me what that, and I would drop off samples. Now, I ain't had no money anyway, so I'm just giving them.
Yeah.
And then I'm walking back, and then I'll be home sitting down. They call me, be like, yeah, let me get one of them barbecue chicken sandwiches, some collard greens and yams. I'll be like, all right, I'll be there in 30 minutes. I got to go light the grill up.
And make a sandwich.
I got to make a sandwich, right? Not knowing. But I built this up over time. And I even found out and developed who my niche market was because I would go to the barbershops and I would go to the beauty salon. With the barbershop, he would try to nickel and dime me in the barbershop, eat the sandwich for itself, throw it away. While I go in the salon, my white chef jacket smelling like barbecue with the samples and go in there and take it to all the ladies in there. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, they've been in here the hair all day. They was like, do you got more? I need to take some to my husband and my kids in there, and I need 4 or 5 plates. And then they would give you through activity.
You can find your market through activity.
Activity breeds results.
Factuals.
Yeah, and then focus activities begin to make you wealthy. From there, they start hiring me for personal gigs. Then I discovered the festivals and fairs game, right? And so I started off with the little mom and pop festivals. They cost like $200, $300 to get in. Then later on, I discovered these major county fairs cost you a couple $1,000s to get in. But then you start running a bag. And all along,
What's
I'm
the most
learning.
you made from an event? Like
from an event? Is that how it's watching? No.
Like right. So like a county fair or something like that.
Yeah, so a county fair, a couple days type of thing, 20,000. You know, just sitting out there on the fair. Maybe a one-day event. I think the most I might have pulled in was maybe like 12, 13 on a one-day event.
On a one-day joint.
Yeah, on a one day.
Very lit.
Well, yeah. But you got to be real organized. And I got the potential to make more. I just don't run mine big. Like you notice the big lines got the big signs.
Yeah.
Right? The bigger the signs, the bigger the lines. And it's a whole science to it. Yeah. So
is that right?
Yeah, the bigger the signs, the bigger the lines. Like it's a whole science to getting into festivals and fairs and getting into that. Like, and actually running that bag up. So now, remember,
walk me through
wait, Dave. I only wanted a restaurant, and I ended up learning a whole game that I would have never learned had I got that restaurant in 2005.
So, life is just funny that way. Yeah. So you take the $2,000 from the front. He's like, dang, he just sold his dream for $2,000. But if you never did that, you wouldn't have been an accountant. You wouldn't have went all the way around. You wouldn't have got a business plan and all that kind of stuff. And now you're just forced to. And sometimes I believe the longer you sit on something, the more frustrating it becomes.
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, now is the time. I need to push that thing out.
It's time. I mean, I kept grinding and grinding at it. Like even when I got in that first major fair, like I put that bag down. I ain't had the money. Like they was like, yeah, it's $3,100 and we need the money up front. Right? Just to get into the joint. Right? I was like, you got to invest. Right? A lot of people would have held on to it. But you got to pay to play.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And so when I got in, now for me, it's a gamble. You're going to learn that the weather, they don't care about the weather. Event is rain or shine. Yeah. Right? Whether people come in and out. Also, you got to be able to know how to store, bring food out there, how to get through the health inspector, how to have a kitchen, like how much food. And then my problem early on that I had to learn was pricing. I was out there paying $3,000 to get in the festival, bringing a little bit of food, and my prices was way off.
Too high or too low?
They were too low. Right? So I'm struggling. I'm out there, and mind
you, you selling out, and you're like, oh, this is good.
I'm selling out in the middle of the fair, taking the bread out the register, running to Sam's Club, running to BJ's to try to buy some more meat, throwing it on, and I'm blasting my speakers, playing, I don't know, Taylor Swift's Ribs Are Ready, come and get it, hey, right? Right? Because people literally got to wait like an hour, 2 hours for me to come back, stoke the fire real high and get it together. Right? But it was those lessons that I learned now that makes me who I am. And the guys told me at the end of the festival, that first year, I remember, they were eating my sandwiches. And these guys, they were selling fried food. They come in 3 hours after I've been there, and they would leave like 10 minutes after the fair would close. And I'm out there stoking the fire, I'm rearranging, I'm making the adjustments. They say, yo, you be putting some hours. You be out here, 5 o'clock in the morning lighting this grill, and you don't leave at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning? They was like, yo, you got a $10 sandwich. At that time, I was selling a sandwich like $6. I was like $10. In my mind, I was limited to only what I thought that people would pay for a sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Probably limited to what you would pay for a sandwich.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. They said,
let me just pause.
Yeah, you gotta pause right
I gotta
there.
pause. I gotta let that breathe for a second. And I truly believe that most people's pricing is based on thirsty, wasn't it? Golly. Look, I was not even my point, but I heard golly. All right, but look, anyway, I believe one of the major keys to success is investing.
Yeah.
Because the more you put out, the more you can charge.
Yeah.
The more you put out, the more you feel comfortable charging. Right? So we could tell people who have not invested more than $1,000 because all their products will bump 1,000.
Yeah.
Or automatically could be 500.
Yeah.
So me personally, it's just me, I'm super interested in investing more and more so that I feel comfortable charging more and more. Because I know if I spend a lot or invest a lot and it comes back, I'm like, oh, I need to do that again. And then I could go back to my audience and say, listen, this is what happened when I invested this. So now I'm asking you to invest this because this is what worked for me.
Yeah.
So that's crazy that your pricing was based on, I ain't paying $10 for no sandwich.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And I had to get by. And the guy told me, he pulled me to the side. He said, yo, D, it's a brother that was working for this other company. He said, Mr. Charlie, he's selling frozen sausages out the box, throwing it on the little flat grill, and we selling it for $8. You out here, you and your wife, your kids. I
love it to your joints.
He was like, yo, we ain't never seen a barbecue guy come to the festival with real wood, stoking the fire, smoke up there. I was putting on a show, bringing cowbells out, had my speakers. We was line dancing every night. They go look at some YouTube videos from 2012, 13. We line dancing, doing the cha-cha, the electric slide. Like we was the sounds of the fair, right? He was like, yo, your issue is you got to conscious about your price.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, who out here when you setting this up? Who out here when you doing your shopping? Who out here seeing you build this whole setup and bring your whole operation out here? He said, you way underpricing yourself. And that was like almost a offset mentor, but it cost me a lot of lesson. And the lesson was how much money I lost as a result.
Yeah.
That first year, I probably only made $6,000 when I probably could have made $15,000. Mm-hmm. So I left. That lesson cost me $7,000. Right? From not having, and then I didn't see many people like me that was in this industry doing roadside building it the way I was building it. From there, I would set up on the side of roads. I would set up at gas stations, wherever I could. Because at this point now, this is the only thing I got that's going to feed my family.
Yo, that's so ill, bruh. Because there's so many lessons that I just hope people are catching that it's not necessarily about your talent or your willingness to work. Because you could be really talented and grind, and your belief system is off, but you just going to run yourself ragged. That's why my man he probably have the talent or the work ethic, but he understood business. Yo, let's get the sausage out the box, cook that joint, put it in a nice little package. Give me $8 for this joint.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I think that's why I start my course off talking about mindset.
It's it's what you need right now.
The whole first module, we just deal with mindset. Because you got to get in the mindset that, like, first of all, you're going to begin with the end in mind. Like, I still knew that I was going to have a successful barbecue restaurant. Like, no matter what. That was always the end goal. So I didn't, like, I can look back now and laugh and joke and just reminisce about the process. But the destination, I realize now, wasn't as important as who I become in the process.
100%.
And it's almost like that metamorphosis. Like, you don't even recognize the caterpillar once it becomes a butterfly.
That's a fact.
Because it's not the same person. Like, who I was 10 years ago in this game ain't the person I am today, because I got so much wisdom, so much like knowledge and insight that I developed just over just the simple pricing lessons. I've lost money by listening to event planners who lied to me and said, we're going to have 20,000 people at this festival.
Oh, of course.
So I invested money, time, and travel to these things with all of this. For me, my business is a gamble because I'm not guaranteed to get nothing back. So if I come down there with $1,500 worth of food, I just paid you another $1,500. Now I'm out $3,000. Not counting my hotel, my travel, or wherever you brought me to.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn those lessons, how to identify what was a great event to go to, right? Because you can't take every event.
Right.
Hoes say men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't lie. You know, so I learned how to even look at social and go back and research some of those events and some of those plays.
Gotcha.
Well.
So did you create, so what happened with this rub? You still got the rub?
I still got the rub. Big D's barbecue rub.
Big D's barbecue rub.
Rosina is trademarking it now.
Oh, as you should.
Yeah.
How are you selling that now?
So I'm selling that in little 8-ounce packages. Right. And so I'm still trying to learn the Shopify and how to ship all that. I'm still working on that. But I'm still, the people come into, I got a roadside store, brick and front, that I had to pivot to last year during COVID when they shut everything down. I ran a bag during COVID, just Facebook ads, all of that. Set up on the side of the road. I ended up renting a building and still put all my trailers and all my grill. Saved me actually on storage because I got to shut down some of them storage units.
Wow. So what is your business model? You have a restaurant, a trailer? What's your business model now?
So it's roadside barbecue restaurant. I call it an outdoor barbecue restaurant because I put up a tent. I bought a big 30 by 30 tent, like one of them carnival tents, put it out there, put the poles, put the heat lamps out there. I got the big trailer with the full kitchen in it.
Same location or you move around?
So that's a permanent location.
Yep.
But I still move around. Like I did an event last week. Like I was supposed to go to Miami, but I was in like Baltimore, Aberdeen, did a huge barbecue bash. I'm like the face. Like you look at the Baltimore Sun, you see my face. They had me on the Hartford County site. They were like, we had to have you come.
Gotcha.
So, you know, now they look for me because I'm I created, like my mission in my company is to create a barbecue experience that make you feel like you're in my backyard.
I love it.
Like I always make them feel like they're in my backyard, no wherever I'm at. It's a party.
You got sauce. So you have a sauce?
Big D's barbecue sauce.
So you have a rub and a sauce.
Yes, sir.
Right? Do you make more from the rub and the sauce or from like the events in your restaurant?
So right now, the events in the restaurant. So I'm transitioning now to push more of the rub and the sauce.
Gotcha.
But people come back for the food because my ribs are handcrafted. Like it's what I give them, right? In the business aspect. What was happening over the last couple of months, like the last couple of years, is people keep asking me how to do it, right? So I keep getting that question. How do you do this, D? How do I do that? And so, like, I got a call on Monday. Lady say, oh, such and such gave me your number. I just bought a food truck and I was just wondering if I can come observe you and this and that. I was like, yeah, I got a course if you want to go and learn. And then if you got some questions, maybe I can mentor you. We can talk about a mentorship. But I don't have time. Like when I told you I went from barbecuing in the parking lot to parking in the mayor's spot, I literally, in some of them early days, I got a cease and desist notice. I didn't know about land use and zoning and all of that. I went to my first council meeting, right? Got up and spoke, realized I had to become the solution to my own problem. It's Bart. If you complaining about something, maybe you're supposed to be the solution to the thing you're complaining about, right? So I had to become the solution. I had to run for council. I ended up winning a council seat in the small town that I was a part of. And then I ended up becoming the mayor. So I'm actually right now currently the sitting mayor of the town.
Oh, wow.
No, really. So, and like tomorrow we're hosting a big governor rally in my town. So I got to fly back out and we're doing some things to help the governor get elected.
Gotcha. So I want to know the process of creating a product. So this is actually, Chef Beasley is about to make me some chips. So I got this theme called Dorito Dave. And I'll eat the chips while I'm like giving a lesson. So I want to know the process of creating your formula and packaging it. Because there's a lot of people that cook good.
Yeah.
They got their own little sauce.
And this is module number 5 in the barbecue business class. This is module number 5, where we talk about scaling and branding it. So you talked about early investing so that you can invest. So early on when I was developing my rub, I found a mentor who had it. I got to go spend like a day with her. She charged me $1,500. I had to drive to Chicago. Shout out to Michelle Serp. She was the original Black-owned syrup company. Not Aunt Your Mama, Michelle Serp's in Chicago.
Syrup.
Like a syrup. Like
it was the accent, syrup. I was like, what's syrup? So syrup. I'm glad you said the Aunt Your Mama vibe.
Yeah. So I paid to get her a one-day mentorship. And I drove up there, sat with her, and she taught me about co-packing. She taught me about formulating. She taught me about that whole process, owning your own kitchen versus just renting somebody else and getting out of there. And so with a co-packer, you develop, again, module 5, right? I talk about this.
We're about to go through the whole module 5 right now. Just to let you know.
Yeah. So we talk about, you first got to find a co-packer that you want to do with, right? And
what is a co-packer?
A co-packer facility is somebody like a big manufacturer who will white label what you have.
Okay.
What they want is they want your recipe.
I want to invite you to pick my brain.
Mine too. Mine too.
Yours too?
Mine too.
Yours too.
I can
Okay,
pick
you
my brain.
guys. We are so excited because we just dropped our newest podcast series called the Brain Picker Podcast. David.
Oh, it's going down. You get to pick our brain. You have a business idea, a concept. You're stuck. You can't get off the ground. You need the advice of seasoned, experienced entrepreneurs. Not only entrepreneurs that are practitioners, but we got a lot of people that we've been coaching all over the last decade.
All over the globe.
That got receipts.
Not just that, you never know where your next investor might be hanging out. And the word on the street is, we got all the connections.
That's a big fact.
We got all the connections. So if you want to sit down with us and pick our brains.
In front of our audience.
And we're letting you pick our brains. We won't even talk bad about you for doing it in front of our audience, bringing your business maximum exposure. Find the link somewhere around here, wherever you see it.
It's there.
And apply.
Right now.
To pick our brain.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Right? And so what you'll do is you'll send them a sample of your product that you make at home.
Okay.
You'll send them your recipe, and then they will formulate it. They will take it to a lab, and they will figure out what the ratio would be to mass produce this. Then they will send it back to you. They would send you some samples. You would taste it and say, it's missing this, adjust this, make this adjustments. And you'll go back and forth until the product is to your liking. Now, at some point, it might be off a little bit, but you saying, because some of your ingredients, you might spend a lot more, right? And so you're also looking at your cost factor, because the co-packer's they're gonna figure out your recipe, which is your formula, and then they're also gonna break down your cost. So how much it's gonna cost to produce it based on the size.
Got it.
Whether it's 8 ounce, whether you do a chef size, or whether you do, I'm buying my rub now, I'm buying them in 25-pound boxes. And I just got a message, prices went up again. Yeah, that shipping cost. I got to raise my prices too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So once you go through that process.
I don't know. So why do we give the co-packer our recipe? Obviously to make the samples, but are they trying to own the recipe?
No. You sign a confidentiality agreement, and then there's a disclosure. It's yours.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So you sign all your paperwork. And you own it. This is specifically formulated for like Big D's. So Big D's has its own.
So you're telling them half a cup of this, a little bit of that. Like you give them the whole recipe.
Yeah.
They take it and then they reproduce your recipe considering scale. Right? Then they send it back and you're like, it's off.
Yeah.
Or, you need to add maybe a little more sugar or whatever, right? And then they come back and you're like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
And then what?
And then once you do that, now y'all work out pricing. They're going to tell you it's a minimum buy, generally 500 pounds, 500, all that. So at that point, you make your first buy. Or if you're not buying it in bulk and you want them to label it, you got to pick out your bottles. You got to pick out your labels. So that might be a whole nother company you got to go through. They'll send you to just to get your labels. And then for the labels, they might have to produce a plate that's just for your label so that they always print your labels, which would there may be a P for the labels to put on that spin wheel. And then the label company might have a minimal spin on the labels.
Does the co-pack, I don't know why do they call it co-packer? Why don't they just call it like...
Because y'all in a partnership. It's like a joint venture that you make.
So they're a part of they buy into the business when they create
No, they don't buy into business, but they're producing it. They're the people that you're buying. Like, where did you buy your T-shirts? Like, if you're buying certain weight T-shirts, you got a company that you're buying your T-shirts.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
But cold pack. I need to see what that means.
Co-packer.
Co?
Yeah, C-O.
C-O.
Yeah, co-packer.
Where you from, man?
Yeah, I'm up south. I'm up north. I spent my summers in New York. Grew up in the D.C. metropolitan area.
Gotcha. Co-packer.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you're saying cold pack because I heard of that before. That's something in the industry, right? Cold packing.
Yeah, you can cold
That's
pack.
For juices and stuff.
Yeah, cold pressing.
You cold press.
Yeah, you cold press.
I'm mixing cold press.
Yeah. So cold packer.
Yes, because they're the co-packer. All right, man. All right, give me some. Come on. We got to understand it. Okay.
So the co-packer is going to help you produce your product or your rub.
Got it.
Or your sauce. So you have two type of co-packers in the food.
And how much did that process cost for you around about, if you remember?
I think initially my initial investment on the rub was maybe like $1,500 or something like that. And then my first buy, I think the one I went to was super local because I drove to them.
Okay.
It was like an hour and a half drive.
Got it.
Right. So for that type of weight, you save on that shipping.
For sure.
To be able to go pick it up. And I think my minimum buy was $500. I think my first load, I might have spent $2,500. And I used it so that I had to stop, like I can get rid of myself and mixing at the restaurant. I used my rub and all my meats and all of that other stuff.
You don't got nothing with you, do you?
No, I was going to bring you some, but I got tied up late last night.
Ready,
I'm going to send it to you though.
Because I would have tasted it if it's good. I'd have been right on the joint.
Well, we're going to come back. We'll do a part
two. This is delicious, y'all. Y'all ain't going to get...
We're going to do a part 2. I'm going to bring the grills down. And we're going to bring the grills down. I'm going to smoke it and we're going to talk about it.
You talking good. We're going to be right out there.
We're going to do a part 2 with the grills.
Oh, say less.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got to have your own formula. You find a co-packer. They help formalize it. Then you find, and this is a separate company.
Yeah. The labels.
The labels in the bottling.
They'll refer you because sometimes they got relationships already.
Of course.
Yeah, so they'll refer you to who they want. Then once you get your bottles, then it's up to you to sell it. It's almost like you mass producing CDs or tapes or whatever. So you got to sell it yourself.
You trying to make some sauce, please? You want to make some sauce, man.
It is.
It's my guy right there.
It is.
You could do the same thing with candy too, right?
The same thing with everything. Food.
Well, you need make some gummy worms or something. Why you don't make no barbecue gummy worms? Barbecue gummy worms wouldn't be lit? Joe, what?
No.
Think about it.
Gummy worms?
Think about it.
No. So why y'all ain't doing that, man?
Because
take a second to think about it, though.
Thought about it. No.
He said
barbecue, because barbecue sauce is sweet anyway. You make some more
sweet and tangy. You can do a sweet and tangy. That's my
sauce.
No
sweet and tangy candy?
Like Mike and Ike's and all that other good stuff. Yeah.
Yo,
but scale it.
Idea? You think
that's absolutely a good idea. Those are the most, and those are the part of the business aspect that people don't think about making money.
Yes.
Right? Because it's not just barbecue food.
For barbecue sauce, you got to have a lunch to put the barbecue sauce on.
People use it on breakfast.
Or you got to have a meal.
You got to have a meal.
But some barbecue gummy worms, bro? Yeah. You gonna eat them joints all day.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to take a poll. Put a poll up on social media. Would y'all eat barbecue? Yeah, would y'all eat barbecue gummy worms?
I'm not mad. Jason, what you think? Barbecue gummy worms.
Yeah. We're going to do a poll.
Barbecue gummy worms?
You get over 50%, we're going to have to put it up
what y'all take? Yo, and this, see, okay, you know what? You know what? You know why they saying that?
Why?
Because they don't see the vision.
They can't see it.
You know how Lay's is doing all kind of weird stuff.
Yeah, with their chips. Are they selling them?
Yes, they selling them joints. They got chips that's like chicken and waffle chips. He be like, that'd be, no, I wouldn't do that. And they hid. They got pork rolls, all kind of weird stuff, man. Y'all, they don't see the vision. They don't see the vision.
Hey, we'll create a joint. If you get over,
is that another real weird one? Macaroni and cheese chips. Huh?
It's just seasoning.
Yeah. No, bro. It's real chip flavors, bro.
He a whole chef. You gonna tell him?
Yo, I seen some, bro. You mean to tell me I ain't seen no chicken and waffle chips on the? That's not Photoshop, bro. That's not.
You can create seasoning and spices to alter and give you the flavor. So he's saying,
it's flavor profiles. Don't act like I don't know what I'm talking about. Flavor profiles.
It's a flavor profile to make it do what it do.
Okay, so Rick Ross, he just got the deal with Rap Snacks, and they got lemon pepper wing chicken, like their chips, lemon pepper wings, and something else. Y'all don't come on. They don't know nothing about. They got the plain Jane too.
Yeah.
But it's like lemon pepper tangy something.
So yeah, listen, the sky is the limit. Whatever you can imagine with your brain. See, that's the power of our mind. Like whatever we believe. You see my vision.
We're gonna partner on this. Yeah. Man. I don't know what they.
Look,
all right, I can't wait to blow them joints up.
If you can believe it, you can achieve it.
Barbecue bears? Little gummy bears?
Gummy bears. Eat them up. Put the poll up. We're going to put the poll up and we're going to show everybody what the poll
That's
say.
a fact. Okay.
Poll say we create
that. Co-packer, find this co-packer, make them gummy bears with the barbecue flavor, using your flavor because it's our partnership.
That's it. I already got the rub.
You got the...
I already got the rub.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. Okay, so you find a packer, then you get it. Now, I can imagine that the hardest part is getting people to release their current favorite.
Yeah.
Right? How have you been working? How's that been going?
How to release their what?
Their current favorite. So if you come out with a new ranch, right? But people love, what's the ranch y'all be eating? Hidden Valley?
Yeah,
Hidden
people are brand
You
loyal.
eating Hidden Valley?
Right? So
That's for salad, bro. That ain't the wing ranch. Go ahead. You get what I'm saying.
So loyalty, people are brand loyal. Like people are loyal to Social Proof, right?
Yeah.
They watch it every week faithfully, every
100%.
time episode. They subscribe to your podcast. Every time it pops up, ding, they click on it, they watch it, right? So they faithful. And so with brands, people get faithful. Like people buy into people.
Yeah, 100%.
They know, they love, they like, they trust, right? And so it's up to whoever the consumer is to build that relation. Like when you did T-shirts, people came to you just because they like the brand, right? Sleep is for suckers. Like I'm gonna rock that, right? And so that's the same thing with any sauce, any product. Rick Ross Wingstop is popular because it association. And when you release a certain level of success just makes you more influential. People gonna buy it just because you're successful, because people want to be associated with successful things.
100%.
Right? And so like even the more people see me pop up on my local news or pop up on there, or they see me in the community, like just because I'm in the middle of my community, people just come and they flood and they buy it. And so that's the key to moving our products is just continue to be successful. And it creates that level of influence in our brand, in our business. Eventually, our brand will be the brand.
Yeah,
like that's how we start wiping it off. We start influencing. And the relationships you start building in your local grocery stores, your local market, you start getting other chefs to use your gummies in there, right? Instead of those CBD, use these barbecue gummies.
Gotta have a barbecue.
It's gonna give you that same energy, that same fire, that CBD.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And so
let me ask you this. How about like a soda gummy worm? It tastes like soda.
So
what you think?
A barbecue soda.
What you think?
You one of them weirdos that eat them little plastic.
See, but here's the thing.
Joints,
y'all seen the little Coca-Cola bottles that are gummy bears, and they be, see, you don't even know what you're talking about.
You eat them, don't you?
Huh?
You eat them, don't you?
I love them joints.
You're disgusting.
They ain't killing it. All right. So anyway, so pretty much you are the front runner of the person who's teaching people how to get their own restaurant or build their own consumer product.
So think of the mobile food industry, like the food truck industry, right? So I'm that barbecue guy that you see on the top of the side of the road. Because we didn't even talk about the grills and all that, how I got to end up getting all those grills and all that.
Yeah,
but I'm teaching.
How many grills you got right now?
I had about 15 grills.
Are you saying it's 15 separate trucks with grills or?
Different styles and sizes. Like, let me tell you, because
Hold on, I'm sorry, where are these 15 grills?
So I got, sitting at my barbecue spot right now, I'm going to describe them to you. I got a big barbecue trailer that I had built with a full kitchen, a huge, massive trailer on it. That's one. Then I have a one trailer contraption. I actually brought it down to Atlanta last month. I got 5 grills built on that, 3 chicken cookers and 2 pig roasters, right? So that's 5 built on one trailer. Then I have this Lang. That Lang is built out of Georgia somewhere. And then I have a Metal Creek with another Metal Creek welded on it. So how many is
a Lang
that?
and what's a Metal Creek?
These are reverse flow smokers. These are these big barrel grills, like these old propane tanks that they cut out. Then I got these table style grills that's like 6-foot table grills that you just straight barbecue. I got like 3 of those. Then I got one that you can run the propane on, one of those table grills. Then I have a Southern Pride type box grill. And then I have a Weber grill. And then I have another pig roaster. So these are just the ones I'm visualizing on my lot right now.
Brother. Golly. So how many locations do you have?
So I have one physical location that people can come to that's in Dumfries, Virginia.
It's open right now?
It's open right now.
24 hours, okay.
No, it ain't open 24 hours.
I mean, not 24 hours, but
No.
it's a static location.
It's static
you have
location.
employees that work there, things of that nature.
And then I also go around and I still do festivals and fairs. I do pop-up. One of my models for people, and I teach this in the course too, I used to work with people and I used to say, let me increase your business with food. Because who doesn't like food? Right?
Yeah,
I used to teach sales models. I teach that in the branding and marketing segment of the course. Like, I'd give them the play on how I brought that. That first grill I brought, the big one, was $7,500. Remember, I ain't had no money. Right? I gave people a play in the course on how to get that $7,500 to buy that first grill to get on out
What's
there.
the play?
It's a partnership. You don't want them to get the course?
No,
you
want to tell them right now.
But
they will.
But people, I probably give it to them, but they ain't gonna run the play.
Well, for the audience now, let's tell them the audience.
Yeah. So what I did at the time, because I had relationships in the mortgage business, I was doing home buyer seminars. I was just charismatic. I built a lot of relationships, right? Just fact. So I entered into a barbecue contest. It was the DC barbecue battle. Huge contest. Over 500,000 people come on Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House, 10 blocks. They changed that after the last president, and they moved it down to the Capitol. But anyway, it was 10 blocks. On their website, they had a whole media's perspective profile. I took that profile for the media, what the stats is, how many visits and all that. I created my own marketing brochure. I said I'm putting together a barbecue team like a NASCAR team. I was creating t-shirts. I was going to put everybody's logo. And I was creating a chef's table for people to come and experience a private chef for this competition barbecue because I'm entering the barbecue contest, right? And so now I went and I needed a title sponsor. So I had I said I was going to do one title sponsor, $5,000. And I had $1,000 sponsorship, $500 sponsorships, right? Because you got to think outside the box. I didn't have the money. Look, I'm barely making $200, $300 going to the barbershops, right? So now I put together a team. I said, all right, you on my barbecue team, you on my barbecue team. All right. Then I found a guy who does blog and was getting a lot of hit. I said, all right, you're my media sponsor. So you're going to do a write-up. And I put this whole perspective package together. And then I played two of the banks. One I used to work for, and another was actually Navy Fed. And I was playing emails together. I said, yeah, this one is about to be my $5,000 sponsor. And I'm giving y'all 10 tickets to sit around the chef's table, and I'm going to feed y'all gourmet barbecue right off the grill. One of the other company I used to work for, they say, hey, come down here tomorrow to get this $5,000 check. Well, because how you do anything is how you do everything. They know my work ethic because I had worked for them. So they say, come get this $5,000 check.
I love it.
I went and got the $5,000 check. I called the company. I said, yo, here's my deposit for the grill. Start building it. Because it's a 6-week build time. Like they build these grills from scratch. Right? So I put that down. So now I'm hustling. Some of the friends, family I knew, that's people afraid to ask. Like, an offer you don't make is an offer they can't take.
That's a fact.
Right? So a closed mouth don't get fed. So I asked, yo, can I get $100? I'm going to give you 2 tickets to come sit around and eat this food at this barbecue. Because it was a ticketed event. It cost $10. Right? So I'm charging them $50. Come sit. I'm going to go buy some extra tickets and be like, come be a sponsor. Come sit around. And I got to cook the food anyway. Yeah. So I think I raised like $8,000 or $9,000, enough to pay the grill, enough to do this. Nice. And boom, I got my first reverse flow smoker off of that one play. That's just dope. Creating a sponsorship package off of an event that I didn't even curate. It was an event that was already happening. I piggybacked my event off there. I curated my own event inside an event.
I love it. That's dope, man. Being able to get paid off of something that you absolutely love to do. So how much money is in this business? Like, not to be in your personal business, but I guess to be in your business. Like,
you think about
last year, I guess through the pandemic, what you think you brought in around?
Probably a little over 4.
About 400,000?
And that was working 3 to 4 days a week.
See, that's what I'm saying.
And I was doing that's just off of the barbecue business. And that was we was doing, I started off just doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Later on, towards the end, I expanded to an extra day Thursday because people started asking. But I was only doing 3 days a week.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Once you have a clientele, they use it. They eat it, but they have to come back tomorrow. Yo, man, it's some spots around here.
Nobody had nothing to do, so don't get it twisted. I spent money, Facebook, creating my bots and doing all that. That's the marketing aspect. Like, people didn't know I was there until I had to show up.
Right, but once they're there and they experience it, like there's some spots, they didn't have to run no ads for me. I came across this joint, okay, let me, I eat it, I'm there.
Oh yeah, it was
and I'm coming back. Yeah. That's really how I want to.
Yeah, and then that smoke. I'm the only one really out in my area that you're going to smell me from blocks. And when you driving, it's funny.
You smell me. I like that.
Smell me. Can you smell what the wood is cooking? Right? This all crazy stuff I say. And so I be sitting there. I literally seen little cars drop over the median because that smell hit their car. It'd be the funniest. I'd be like, yo, can you do that again? I want to record that. They're like, no. Because they didn't even know it was a median there that they just really went and stretched and did that. So it'd be the funny that when that smell hits you, and sometimes I just light the grill and people smell the grill and it don't even nothing be on. And it was funny because people be out there 7, 8 o'clock in the morning just because they smell the smoke thing. I just be like, yo, I don't serve breakfast. Be open at 12 or 11, whatever.
Crazy. Man, listen, This has been insightful. We about to make some barbecue gummy bears, bro.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
I gotta do a quick.
I can't wait to see that survey.
Yes, sir. I gotta do a quick commercial, and then I'm gonna have you kind of close this out with something impactful and let them know how they can reach you and all that kind of stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So this episode is sponsored by the Podcaster's Blueprint. Okay. There's not many. First off, there's not a whole lot of resources out here that will teach you how to have a successful podcast.
No.
If you want to have a podcast, where would you go?
Yeah.
And especially
you think barbecue podcast would be good?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just us sitting down talking about barbecue.
Absolutely. Around. Barbecue bring people together, man.
That's it.
Barbecue is a part of our history.
That's it.
Did you know when the slaves came over to America, the very first thing, I'm just playing.
Yo, it's true. We who you think was lighting up? Who figured out how to roast that pig in the ground?
Yeah, you feel me? And you had to throw something on it.
Absolutely.
You feel me? You had to get the honey. All right. Anyway, yeah, it's Podcast's Blueprint. If you want to start a podcast, okay, you got to learn from somebody that's done it. Listen, I've done it. We're not just here having fun. This is a business, even though we had a good time. But I go to podcastersblueprint.com, use the promo code socialproof, and get a very nice discount off of your bread, your course, okay? Also, The Morning Meetup, the only organization that gathers every single day. Entrepreneurs from all across the country gather every day at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wait, every day?
Monday through Friday, bro.
Oh, that's not Saturday.
And it'd be like not Saturday, Sunday, but that's every day. Monday through Friday, pretty much. Every weekday. Every weekday.
All right, there we
go. Monday through Friday. But listen to me. If I did it for 7 days a week, we would have 400 or 500 people on 7 days a week.
That's dope. And they all entrepreneurs?
Every day. Well, I mean, some are entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs, people that are trying to figure it out, people that's trying to, they want community.
Yeah.
Because where else would you go? Let me ask you this honest question.
All right.
Where can you go to meet up with over 400 people every day? Where would you go?
Wow.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Physically or online, where would you go?
Yeah, to meet, and y'all actually meet up and y'all talking and
you
y'all
can see on little boxes on Zoom over 400 people. Where would you go?
I guess morningmeetup.com.
It's the only place in the world.
That's what
it's the only place in the world. So, am I lying? Am I making this stuff up? You can't. Where else would you go? So, if you want that connection with other people, go to themorningmeetup.com. Start your $1 trial for 7 days to see if you like it or not. All right. So, D, man, I appreciate you, man. This was very, very lit.
Yo, D, I had a good time, man. I learned a lot. Yo, you got 400 entrepreneurs that meet up every day.
Yeah.
I got to sit down with a dope guy that's doing dope things with dope people.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And I gotta come up with I'm gonna do some weird funky sauces too, bro. The stuff that Joe wouldn't approve of because he ain't woke. You know what I mean?
But it's those things that people remember.
Exactly. Yo, you know what will happen?
Nobody want no barbecue gummies.
Here's the crazy part, Joe.
Busy said no.
Here's what's crazy. Here's what's crazy. The fact that we've never heard of it before. You know how many people will buy it just to see if it's good or not?
That's like that one little chip that everybody buying for $10? Just one little spicy chip?
Bro, there's a restaurant in Philly, they got a $100 cheesesteak.
No, it's $120 now. Barclays Prime.
120.
I'm working on $100 slab of ribs.
Say it again?
Are you tossing the gummy worms in a seasoning?
I don't know. Just don't shoot down my concept. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I said, y'all shot down my dream.
Yeah.
Without it, okay, we still teaching our
It don't matter. You still gonna do it anyway.
Without even hearing all of the details, y'all shot down my dream.
So in the mindset lesson, we talk about stay away from people that steal your dreams, right? You got to be in an environment and go around people who are going to encourage you. It's just like a baby. When a baby fall down, we don't tell that baby, you will never be able to walk because you ain't prepared to walk. Yep. We put that baby around people, we going to tell that baby to get back up and to walk again. And so that baby is because we're encouraging that baby, eventually that baby learns how to walk. And our ideas are just babies that we developing and we trying to teach them how to walk.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about. They ain't even try it to tell me anything good. Yeah. Let me ask you, Joe, would you eat metal?
No.
You would not eat metal.
Why would I eat metal?
Is gold a metal?
Why would I eat gold?
Do you know they make gold covered steaks? I know they make gold covered steaks. I don't eat beef. But if you ate, but I'm saying if you ate steak.
I don't eat beef.
It's edible gold.
There's a difference.
But that's the thing. Though. My thing was, would you eat metal? Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. Would you eat metal? Absolutely not. Is gold a metal? No. They have gold cover steaks that cost hundreds of dollars. And now we're like, oh, well, if you shave it and you put it on and you make it edible. But the initial answer is no. I'm teaching entrepreneurship. Thank you, Joe. I love you. I'll just use you as an example.
Yes, as always.
There are people who don't have the full picture of the thing that you are trying to do. And they will automatically say it won't work because they don't see it how you see it. I say, would you eat metal? He's thinking about taking a nickel and like going at it.
D, they don't see what's there. They only see what they've been programmed to see.
Come on, man.
And that's in life, man.
Look at Joe when you say
listen, you don't see what's there. You see what you've been programmed to see.
Joe?
He programmed that as soon as he said metal, you saw a big piece of metal.
Say his name,
you
Joe.
Didn't, Joe.
Say his name.
Joe. Hey, let me tell you something, Joe. We say that in DC too. You don't see metal, you see a big pole. But he telling you to see the shavings. Wait, pause. No, but that's, you listen.
Oh my God.
Look, anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
Anything. You just got to believe, right? What makes the lion king of the jungle, Joe? Let me tell you. It's not because the lion is the biggest. It's not because he's the fastest. It's not because he's the smartest or the strongest. Lion is king of the jungle because there's attitude. That elephant is bigger, is stronger. It can knock trees down. But when that lion sees that elephant, he don't see how big and strong it is. All he sees is lunch.
Lunch.
And so when you see your dreams and your goals, you got to be like, lunch. And you got to attack that thing and you got to eat that thing. Yeah.
Hey, man, yo, thank you so much for coming, man. I've had a blast, man. You definitely got to let it, this is what I want you to do. Okay. I got to ask a question.
All right.
And then.
Is it a deep question or
very
is it
deep
surface?
question.
Come on,
very
man.
deep. So, one, where do you see, I like to make predictions on the podcast, okay? So, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years so that I can watch this 5 years from now and we can say, listen, it didn't happen. It wasn't happening when he talked about it, but this is what he said he's going to accomplish, and he actually accomplished it.
That's a great question.
I ask good questions.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Because I actually been chewing on this, but I haven't said it out loud. So now you're going to force me.
Here we go. Let's go.
You're going to force me to say it out loud. So I see the barbecue business in a point where now I created the course, right? barbecuebusinessclass.com or whatever. But now it's in a position where people are lazy. They need a done-for-you type of product.
100%.
So I got to create a product now where they can get a system that's already built. And it'd be franchised. So now they could buy a franchise to set up on any roadside in the entire 50 United States.
I love it.
All right. And so now I guess franchising would be the next model. Because I've never seen a roadside, like a roving food vendor, like a same food vendor going at all these other fairs. And there's nobody in our sphere. So I see myself getting in that space. And I've been in a position 4 or 5 years from now where I've helped probably 1,000 entrepreneurs really get in and scale and start their own barbecue business. They take their passion of barbecue out their backyard and they really start making money, right? Because everybody likes their food, but it's just a hobby until you start making some money.
That's a fact.
So I want to show people how to make money in this game.
I love it. I love it. So now the clock has started because you said it.
Yeah, I did. You put it in. It's funny how much things I said and I look back on and it actually happened.
Yeah.
And just kind of like wrote it out. It's like that vision, making it plain.
Got to.
So, and that's going to be the consultant aspect. I just had a revelation the other day, man, that King Solomon was a consultant. People used to bring him money for his advice. Like this lady had an issue with a baby and she was like, yo, what's up with my baby? She stole my baby. He was like, all right, let me see. Let me kill the baby. No! He figured out who it was and everybody started bringing him money. They was like, yo, he's wise. For solving problems.
Problem solvers get paid, man.
Yeah, so I just want to help people solve their problems.
There it is. I love it. Well, look, man, you have, let everybody know how to find you. You have the course. We'll put a link in the bio. How much, can we give a discount?
You know, I'm a giver. Nah, for real, I'm a giver. Let's give a discount.
Yeah.
The course right now is a $5,000 course. I reduced it for the first 100 people, $2,500.
Okay.
But for you and your people, Social Proof, I think we should give them a deeper discount.
Okay. What you thinking? Is it a percentage, a number you want them to be surprised?
And here's what it is. I'm giving them $100,000 worth of gain.
Of course.
Now, how much, like, if I told somebody give me $90,000 for $100,000, right, that's still a good deal.
All day.
All day long, because you make $10. Right. If I told them give me $50,000 for $100,000, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't want people to look at the cost because it's an investment that's going to come back. Right? Don't look at what you're paying, look at what you invest. How much is it going to cost you not to get it?
Yeah.
It's going to cost you $100,000 if you don't get it.
That's a fact.
So now, I say we take another 20% off for your people.
Okay. So we'll set up promo code Social Proof.
Okay.
Promo code Social Proof. And we'll give them 20% off.
20% off the barbecue business class.
There it is. So let everybody know how they can find you. Then I need you to close this out with a word of wisdom. Okay, you got to put a whole bow on this conversation.
Yeah, so you can find me on social media at MyBBQMan. You can find me on our Facebook, Divine Barbecue. If you want to follow the political world, you want to understand that, follow Mayor D.R. Wood over on Instagram. Like if you want to see how I move and shake and influence in that sphere. And
give us a word of wisdom. And then actually give the whole, what were you about to say?
The course address.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
The website is www.bbqbusinessclass.com. bbqbusinessclass.com.
Good. And like close this out with a word of wisdom, but I want you to talk directly to Joe, okay?
Okay.
I want you to like close it out, look him in his face, and he needs encouragement. He needs some wisdom, you know what I mean? But go ahead, you can close this out, bro.
All right, so here's a good word, Joe.
Call his name.
Yeah, listen, you got to commit to your dreams. Commit first, figure the rest out later. One of the things that's made me like outrageously successful in life and business is my ability to throw my hat over the fence and then figure out how I'm going to climb that fence and go get my hat. Like I never had all the details when I did this and when I built this and never in my wildest dreams that I think I'd be doing what I'm doing today. But it was that one gift of barbecue that has opened every door. It's because of barbecue I'm sitting on this podcast. Because of barbecue, I'm in politics. Because barbecue that I get to travel and get invited to some of the places I do. But the key to that was my ability to commit first and to figure the rest out later. So the secret to getting ahead, really, Joe, is getting started. What are you waiting for? Start today.
There it is. Listen, man, we can't close it out. How you feel, Joe? Can't close it out no better than that. Listen, man, do yourself a favor, man. First off, follow D Woods, all right? Next, I need you to go get you some social proof, okay? Build something. Go build something really, really big, something you could be proud of, something your family could be proud of. But then I want you to take it back to your community and teach your community how you did it. All right? We are out of here.
Reach one, teach one. Let's go reach one.